Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. This was breaking news from yesterday. Russia has just passed a bill to allow international payments with cryptocurrency. And if you guys didn't catch the video I did on that most recent Russian report where they do mention Ripple in 2024, this was just from last month. I will link that video up here in the top right hand corner. So I thought this would be pertinent to piggyback on that most recent video. So the BRICS bloc has taken a step into digital finance as Russia has legalized crypto payments for trade. A bill recently passed in the lower house of Parliament, marking a key moment in the country's approach to digital currencies, especially for international deals. So we know the story, right? We know the BRICS, we know the MO to de-dollarize, or, however they want to put it. They say, well, we just have the technology now where we can use our own currencies and we do not necessarily need to use the US dollar. The U.S. is fighting back, and they're doing this through the legislation of stablecoins, and I'm going to explain in a little bit what that means. So Russia's crypto legalization move comes as the nation faces money problems due to international sanctions amid the bloc's de-dollarization efforts. The bill that was passed on Tuesday is set to open new cross-border payment methods. This will undoubtedly fortify Russia and BRICS' continued move away from the U.S. dollar. So this is, well, I feel like it was inevitable. The BRICS nations are just getting stronger. Russia has always said we do not want to rely on the US dollar. The US has bullied many countries to be on a dollar standard for many decades now. And so countries are now saying enough is enough. We're not doing it anymore. The legislation is set to go into effect in September, with Central Bank Governor Elvira Nabiullina saying that the first cryptocurrency settlement trade will take place before the end of 2024. So that's, I think, an important point to mention. The law will also debut regulations on both crypto mining and the circulation of other tokens, yet it will not abolish the former ban on crypto payments within the country itself. It should still have a massive impact on BRICS and its international trade capabilities. This change is driven by the need to work around problems in international transfers caused by Western financial sanctions. Big and medium-sized companies benefit most from this new system, though strict rules may limit wide use. I mean, if they're going to use XRP, for example, many of the BRICS nations, as we know, many of the original BRICS nations too are already leveraging, whether it's through a partnership or through central bank involvement, already leveraging the XRPL, leveraging XRP. So maybe in some cases, those strict rules, I don't know, may have to do with other cryptocurrencies, maybe Bitcoin, I don't know. I'm just speculating here. But for the BRICS bloc, guys, the move continues to grow de-dollarization approaches. The use of native currencies and now digital assets should unify unilateral trade away from the greenback, with Russia signing notable trade agreements throughout this year. That could be bad news for the Western currency. So I'm going to link this article in the description of this video for you guys if you want to read further. But this is a step, a major step, critical step for a complete shift and a complete change for global finance. It starts off with one thing and then it becomes a snowball effect, as Bearableguy has pointed out years ago. And it's not just the financial system and cross-border payments. Everything is going to be tokenized on some form of ledger. This one from Eisenreich here with one of my legacy cryptocurrency picks, VeChain, also part of the $15,000 plus portfolio that you can find over there at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. Tokenized real-world assets become a solution for sustainability. So this is the narrative that they want to promote. Of course, they want everything to be tokenized. And tokenized real-world assets do convert or will be converted to physical assets. This is how everybody's going to keep tabs on what they own, like real estate, art, commodities, into tokens that can be traded across blockchain platforms. This concept can help increase liquidity, security, and transparency within traditional financial markets. And now VeChain wants a piece of this pie. So according to blockchain analytics and research firm Mazari, the RWA market has grown to $8 billion in total locked value in this year alone, while tokenized RWAs are gaining traction. These are also being used to promote and enable sustainability. So two factors here. Sunny Liu, founder and CEO of the blockchain platform VeChain, he told Crypto News that tokenized RWAs are ideal solutions when it comes to sustainability for a number of reasons. Tokenized RWAs digitize sustainable assets, including their impact, reductions in waste, and real-world measurable impact with financial value. Tokenized RWAs also use blockchain to create the global liquidity of tokens representing sustainability value. Liu noted that this concept could therefore create transparency for reporting or meeting regulatory objectives that enterprises need for environmental, social, and governance. financing opportunities. This is important as transparency continues to be a primary concern regarding sustainability. For instance, Zippia found that 72% of North American and 58% of global companies admit to greenwashing. Greenwashing occurs when a company makes misleading claims without accurate data about a positive environmental impact or the sustainability of its products. So there are obviously some problems with it. The bigger takeaway, though, that I wanted to point out was that now everything is going to be tokenized, not just cross-border payments, as we're seeing, in the BRICS situation, in this push towards de-dollarization. But there might not be a dominant currency in the future. It might just be that everything is now, well, it's looking as though everything's going to be tokenized, and that you can now decide if you wanted to take, some of your real estate or some of your art, you can sell off a fraction to someone, and you can use that as payment. So then they will then own a part of that art. For example, then if you have a rare Van Gogh and that goes up 300% in the next 10, 15 years, but you sold 5% of it to somebody because you wanted to buy something else, I don't know. Well, that person has now that 5%, and their 5% has gone up 300% in the next 15 years. So if they own a portion of it, they can then, use that to sell and buy something else, or keep it, or whatever, will it to their kids, whatever, however it goes. This concept is becoming more and more prevalent as the years go on, and, not without proper regulation, of course. Stablecoins are a way to combat that, and I'm going to explain why that is, especially for Americans, especially for the US government. Digital Asset Investor posted this: most of crypto was created by the government and others to save the US dollar. I don't know if I agree with that, but saving the US dollar, I think, is definitely in the sights of government right now. Yes, and that most certainly includes Bitcoin. He says they needed people to believe they had a choice that wasn't forced on them and appeared to be a libertarian movement. Guys, here's a clip of Jay Clayton talking about stablecoins, and I'm going to explain why that's important. Listen to this.
Well, stablecoin has proven to be an astonishing facilitator of dollar-based global transactions, in that you can now do dollar-based transactions around the globe in very little time with very little friction, as compared with wire transfers, money transfers taking hours or days and requiring, what I would say is lots of fees and the like. Stablecoin transactions take place virtually instantaneously and with very low friction. And what we're seeing is a tremendous amount of retail dollar transaction take-up outside the United States. I think this is an incredibly bullish thing for the dollar around the globe, and one that our regulators really need to focus on, because the benefits of dollar hegemony, the benefits of the dollar being the basis for transactions around the globe is so important to the United States. It's so important to the globe from a stability point of view. If there's a better technology to accomplish that, we should be figuring out how to facilitate it.
This is why the U.S. government has been putting such an important, critical emphasis on regulating stablecoins, because if there are U.S.-dominated stablecoins, well, that just helps. That helps to prevent U.S. de-dollarization to a degree. I mean, they're still not using the actual fiat. These countries are not actually holding U.S. dollars at this point. But, if the mindset is there to still denominate in U.S. dollars, well, that is going to help at least protect U.S. dollar dominance for a little while. So enter Ripple and the RLUSD, the Ripple stablecoin, the real USD, as Brad Garlinghouse wants to dub it, I guess. Subjective Views posting this: the RLUSD will be a global vehicle for trade. Don't believe it? It's still true. Remember, corridors such as Africa have a huge need for a dollarized stablecoin. This is where the RLUSD will play a key role in facilitating liquidity and trade. Remember, On Afrique is a big Ripple partner. And I'm going to play you guys this clip of a representative who works for On Afrique. She explains why the stablecoin is important. A Ripple partner coming out and saying it. Listen to this.
Touchy question, because with the conversation of dollar comes geopolitical concerns, but let's put that aside. The dollar is a currency that if you are in Nairobi or if you are in Lagos or Karachi, people would rather have a dollar than hold another currency. So again, like as a Ugandan, I grew up, my dad did a lot of business with Kenyans, but they always had to settle in dollars because the Kenyan does not want to hold the Ugandan shilling. The Ugandan doesn't want to hold the Kenyan shilling. Again, because it's difficult to get rid of, right? Or difficult to spend. Just think of it from first principles. Dollars have provided a global vehicle for trade, right? And this is this is visible in the fact that we have multiple iterations of the dollar today. We've got the US dollar that is issued in America. We've got the euro dollar, which I've learned today actually is mapped to the petrodollar, which is also used globally. So the fact that the dollar is so trusted and is so liquid globally is really important, something important to consider. In Africa, a USDT or a stablecoin is way more liquid and way more accessible than a dollar from a bank to the regular person on the street, also to small businesses. So having dollarized stablecoins is something that I believe is propelling a lot of growth with regards to trade, with regards to remittances as well. But we still do have problems at the fiat last mile, right? So that's like what Elizabeth mentioned, the other side of the trade being local currency. We still haven't quite, like, as a financial services payments community, nailed that piece yet. But yeah, dollarized stablecoins are very important for our region, and we're also starting to see African stablecoins crop up that will likely have liquid, pairs through DEXs or various centralized market makers to do swaps. But until we're at a point where a Nigerian Naira stablecoin, a USD stablecoin, a Mexican peso stablecoin are able to be easily transacted, we haven't quite solved that yet. But it's I think it's very important.
How is OnAfric improving remittances flows in the African countries?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier our focus heavily on partnering with layer ones. So we are B2B, we are infrastructure piping throughout Africa. So very little, if any, with regards to like retail users. We want to make it super cheap, super easy for our customers, so like remittance players, for example, MTOs, to remit funds to Africa. So one of our partnerships integrating into a layer one, which has resulted in instant settlement between us and the money transfer operator. Boring stuff, right? Like my parents don't give a crap about this, but my mom does know that it takes, if I use an MTO that is plugged into us via this integration that we have, she just knows that it's, oh, I spent less sending her money this month. She doesn't need to know that I spent less, but then using a different app. So the way that we're looking at it is like making tiny incremental impact by doing the heavy work of the crypto mullet, essentially, right? Like fintech in the front, traditional financial services in the front, crypto powering the back end. So we found that to be really, really quite impactful for our remittance business, and it's led to OnAfric actually seriously taking a investment into crypto, taking it a little bit more seriously.
Mobile money, which is where really digital payment started in Africa, is instant native. What we've done as MFS Africa was to take that instant capability cross-border. When we move money between Kenya and Uganda, we go through those two layers, as I mentioned, the messaging layer, the compliance layer, and we have to do all of this and the settlement for the end user in less than 45 seconds. If it takes 5 minutes, the sender is going to call. If it takes an hour, he is going to come. Not just call. He doesn't believe that the money was sent. So we were able to do that at the level of Africa, and we continue to do that. We process, hundreds of thousands of these transactions every day.
So there's a problem clearly in Africa, and they need a solution for it, and they're finding that stablecoins are going to solve the problem. The fiat last mile, we've heard David Schwartz talk about that too. Subjective Views also did just add some supporting material to this tweet thread, MFS Africa, in collaboration with Ripple. We know they are obviously a partner. And another clip here that I will, I'll just link all this in the description of the video. I don't need to show another clip demonstrating their partnership. But you guys are noticing a trend here, the stablecoin trend and the need for these faster cross-border payments. Now, from that same conference, Ripple is teaming up with Clearbank and Zero Hash and others to create an innovative ecosystem for their new stablecoin. So along those same lines, with regards to the stablecoin, here's another clip of Jack McDonald, now part of the stablecoin division over there at Ripple. Listen to this.
What do you plan to do over the, say, next 30, 60, 90 days to define a plan for your new path?
A lot of work to be done. Locking up banking partners, critical, and also just other service providers in the industry. You know, you really can't go it alone, and we try to stick to our lane. And obviously, we're going to seek approval to issue a stablecoin. We're going to do that on the XRPL ledger in addition to Ethereum. So excited about that. But that really begets a whole host of other service providers that we need on the banking side for transaction on and off ramps, for reserve banking. Someone to manage the reserves. There's a lot of compliance needs. We've been talking to the folks at Zero Hash and others. And so part of it's just bringing that A-team of providers, monthly attestations from the accounting firms. So there's kind of an internal and an external swim lane, if you will, that needs to come together. And also understanding, you know, where the use cases are and where our real value exchange can be differentiated. Because there are obviously some established players. We think we've got some unique needs within the Ripple community right now that we've been listening to our customers who have been asking for, you know, certain attributes to a stablecoin that we're targeted towards building. So a lot of exciting considerations going on right now and a lot of work being done really on all those fronts.
And as we have heard, the stablecoin is going to be issued by the end of the year, 2024. On top of which, we've got this, guys, from Tony Edward, the future of stablecoins, building an ecosystem for global adoption. As many companies continue to issue stablecoins, what will be the recipe for achieving adoption? Mike Belch, guys, this is the CEO of BitGo. And for those of you guys who may not remember from last year, BitGo CEO did join forces with Ripple in defending them against the SEC lawsuit. He did show his support last year. And here's what he has to say about stablecoins and their adoption. Listen to this.
And like a lot of things with technology, you know, it's going to be probably more about the ecosystem than it is about the features of the coin. And, you know, in an analogy you can make with technologies like programming languages. So for those on your show that are not programmers, you've probably heard of things like JavaScript. You've probably heard of things like Python. You've probably heard of PHP, maybe Perl, if you go farther back. Look, the winners in programming languages, in terms of which ones get used, is not always the best technology. There's something about the ecosystem. Like Perl has been pretty much a despised programming language. I guess it's kind of dead now, so I'm dating myself. But it's not dead. It's used probably in a lot of places. But JavaScript, used everywhere. And I don't think there's very many people that would argue that JavaScript is the greatest language ever. So the same thing is going to come with stablecoins. It's going to be about how do you make it so that the ecosystem can use it.
And if you guys want to catch that full interview, I will link this tweet in the description of the video for you from Tony Edwards. So you can find it there. But basically, you know, it's not necessarily about the best stablecoin. All these stablecoins are going to provide value, and they're all basically the same in a lot of ways. You know, they're all pegged to the USD. What's going to be important is which ones are more liquid, and guys, which ones are going to have that backbone. The XRP to transfer them, well, the XRP ledger is going to be the native home of the RLUSD. So XRP is going to be transferring that particular stablecoin. And considering all Ripple central bank partnerships, it seems as though this might just be another avenue for central banks to be leveraging XRP to transfer the RLUSD once that is finally launched. So some interesting insight there from Mike Belch. Wanted to thank Tony there for pointing that out, and Amelie for that last tweet. Also, two subjective views for the tweet before. Going back to tokenization, though, guys, and this may be another connection to Bearableguy. This one coming from XRP Venture here on Twitter. Shut the front door. There is more treasure in books than in all the pirates' loot on Treasure Island. You guys remember when Bearableguy did post this back in March of 2021? So what he's posting here, Treasure Island will be the first tokenized movie in Japan. Again, the fact that the movie Treasure Island specifically is linked to tokenization in the crypto industry, I think is either a big coincidence or has been in the works for quite some time. Now, it's funny because Bearableguy did post this riddle a while ago. We know movies, they sometimes take a while to produce. And this movie, guys, the most recent update here was from just last month, June 2024. This is the first case related to the release of the launch of the Securitize PF to fill up securities announced on June 25th, 2024. The rights obtained by investing in this film production committee of the movie Treasure Island, scheduled to be released in 2025. So also a critical date here, probably going to be at the height of the bull run, will be ST, and sold in small pieces from Phillips Securities and investors will be given ST purchase benefits in addition to dividends. But guys, look at who else is connected to this. Securitize. Remember, Securitize did support Coinbase and Ripple with a $13 million funding round back in November of 2018. So, well, there's that connection, and I do believe that Securitize is also connected to other Ripple partners, other confirmed Ripple partners as well. And now, guys, the connection to this Japanese film that is going to be the first Japanese film tokenized on the blockchain, Treasure Island, a connection to Bearableguy as well. More treasure in books than all the pirates' loot on Treasure Island. The economy will be tokenized. I don't think there's a doubt about that. It's now really just a question of how much are we going to see being tokenized on the XRP ledger. Of course, the stablecoin will help that. BRICS de-dollarizing is also going to spur a lot more activity for this too. But that's just my opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.